These are the top 5 gaming monitor accessories. If at any point during the video you want to check out any of the 5 accessories in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links, but let's jump into that number 5 spot. And that is the Cyber Acoustics Monitor Speaker Bar. Now this thing comes in at $24.99 for the wired version, and then $29.90 for the wired and Bluetooth variant of this. So basically what this is a speaker that then has a clip on it that's designed to clip underneath onto your monitor's chin, which is, well, very cool. And the biggest thing is it looks, I don't know, it just looks clean. It looks like it's supposed to be there. Now there's only one issue, is if that, well, you have a super thick monitor, then the clip doesn't kind of open enough. It actually fits on quite a lot of things, so it does get pretty wide, but if your monitor is super thick, you probably won't be able to use this, especially like super thick right there in the bottom. Now this plugs in with a USB, and it does have some controls on the bottom there, which is play, pause, mute, volume up, volume down, which this is actually very nice to have, because if you are in a game and your keyboard does not have dedicated volume controls, you can actually just click those buttons and get to the volume controls pretty quickly. Okay, but the most important thing is sound quality. For the price, I was extremely impressed here. Music actually sounds good. Now, don't expect any bass here because again, well, these are 2 speakers and they don't have a subwoofer. So there's no dedicated subwoofer, but the mids and the trebles are really, really crisp and clear, which is super nice. So music sounds good, but it's not gonna be like thumping bass, obviously. However, watching YouTube videos and especially playing games, because again, accessories for your gaming monitors, playing games on this is really, really good. This is great if your monitor does not have a dedicated speaker system or a built-in speaker system. Even if it does have a built-in speaker system, if you want to upgrade that, this is a great way to do it that's very inexpensive. But with that, let's move on to the number 4 spot, which is the Clearlook Monitor Stand Riser, coming in at a price tag of $32.99. Now this is fantastic for anyone that either doesn't have a gaming monitor with a height adjustable stand or someone who just needs more storage. But firstly, and maybe most importantly, this can match any setup. That's like a base level. Can it match your setup? This one can. It looks pretty unique. It doesn't look like you just went and got it from Walmart, and you can either get it in black or white, so it pretty much is gonna match any setup. But let's talk functionality. Firstly, this has a pull-out phone holder, which I absolutely love for gaming. I typically look at those things kind of like, why do you need it? But in this case, it was like in the perfect spot. When I'm gaming, it pulls out slightly off to the center, to the left. And when I was gaming, I was able to game, and then typically I would look down during respawn times. I would pick up my phone, check it for messages. Sometimes I'll reply to YouTube comments at that time. But when it's in that fold holder on the monitor stand, when I'm gaming, I can literally just glance down when notifications pop up. And obviously it's just easier to grab. It's just nicer. It's a luxury. It's not necessary, but it's very nice. I liked that more than I thought I would. But then this also has a little storage tray drawer, which I kept my RGB controller remotes in there. Although my girlfriend said it would be a great Cheez-It tray for mid-game energy. Her words, not mine. You can also store things under the monitor stand itself and even put stuff on top of it, like a book, if you have books for gaming. Learn how to game better. All right, but let's say, well, maybe it looks too big. Maybe your monitor is a little bit smaller, or maybe it's bigger. Well, this has 2 different sizes kind of that it can be. This actually folds down or out, so it has a different look, and it, well, gets smaller and bigger for a different desk size. I really like this point because if you want to buy this and then keep it for a long time, which I hope that you do, well, if you move to a smaller desk or a bigger monitor or a smaller monitor, well, this can change with your setup. And that is very, very good to have, especially to, well, increase the longevity of this product. And speaking of longevity, the build quality feels very, very nice. When you do snap it either smaller or bigger, it literally like snaps into place very, very solidly. It's honestly pretty impressive how good the build quality is considering the price point, as this isn't crazy expensive. Some monitor risers get very, very expensive, but this one is quite reasonable, I think. Overall, a great upgrade for your monitor, plus space saving. But with that, let's move on to the number 3 spot. And that is the Pantone Villa RGB strips, coming in at $11.99. This literally fits anyone's budget. Now, besides the obvious that these are average bright RGB strips. These actually have detachable connections throughout them, exactly the same as you would see as RGB strips plugging into your motherboard. If you're a PC builder or gamer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So they have those connections along the strip, so you can actually break them apart. This is easier to apply them, and it's easier to, well, add connection points. Beyond that, there's way more points along it that you can cut, which is really nice, as well as they have connectors that will again connect to those 4-pin connectors to do 90-degree angles or whatever angle you want to do. So that's what makes this so easy to put on your monitor. The application is unbelievably easy, and these also plug directly into your monitor if you do have USB in your monitor, or you can also plug it into your PC, because this does plug in with a USB Type-A, which is very, very good. The reason this is good is, one, you don't have to plug something into the wall and then route that cable everywhere. But two, and this is one that I really like, if you turn your monitor on or you turn your PC on, depending on which one it's connected to, well, the RGBs come on automatically. Now you can turn them off if you don't want them on, but that's just very nice. It's one less thing you have to do when you turn your rig on. Now, like I said, these are super easy to install, like you can see as I'm doing, but the strips themselves are also more flexible than your traditional strip RGB strips, making it easy that if for some reason, depending on your monitor size, you do need to just bend the cable over to do a 90-degree turn rather than cutting it or adding a connector, well, it's super easy to do so like I did in my installation. Now, once you go to the Amazon page, you'll see, well, it's designed for TVs, but this works incredibly well on monitors, and for the price, you cannot beat it. Also, because it's designed for TVs, well, there's a lot of RGB strip there. So if you have a 34-inch ultra-wide or a 38 or a 40-inch or a 32-inch monitor or a 27 or a 24, like, it doesn't matter. You have plenty of RGB to go around whatever monitor size at whatever aspect ratio it is. Now, this comes with a remote control that you can change all the different colors that you want, whether that's teal, green, purple, magenta, whatever. Like, you can do any of it to match the setup exactly how you want. And you can see here, it looks amazingly good. Like, this is one of the best ways to upgrade your gaming monitor setup for like $11.99, $12. It adds a level of vibes to a gaming when your entire room is dark and you set it to red and then you're in the zone and you're just gaming for like 4 hours straight. So freaking nice. All right, for the price, it's a no-brainer. Let's move on to the number 2 spot. And this is the Xiaomi Mi Monitor Light Bar, coming in at a price tag of $69.99. This is almost as good as the BenQ light bar, but for literally almost half the price. Now, the build quality, this is great here. The actual light bar itself is made of metal, which is actually, that was kind of unexpected, but it's super nice. And everything on this feels incredibly solid, high-end, and premium. Even the unboxing experience was very, very nice. This plugs in with a USB Type-C that you can either plug into your monitor or your PC or directly into power with a USB brick. But one of my favorite parts of this one is that it has a wireless controller, and it's just this wheel that you can press down and turn, but it's totally wireless. It takes 2 AA batteries or 2 AAA batteries, I think, actually. But as far as using it for your gaming setup, this is absolutely amazing. Firstly, if you do want to do studying, you have a light that's on your desk and it shines everywhere while not reflecting off of your monitor screen itself. But when you do want to do gaming, if you just want a little bit of light in the room, you can turn that all the way down, have it super, super dim, and just have it slightly light up your setup. Or, and the way that I use this more of the time, is that I'm gonna turn it off while I'm gaming. I game for a long time, and inevitably it's gonna be 2, 3 a.m. And then all you have to do is just press that button that's right next to your hand. You don't even have to move, and then you have a light in your room again. Because most of the time when that happens, it's not quite dark yet outside, and then at 3 a.m. it is completely pitch black, and I'm trying to find the light in the room. So that is, it's a little convenient thing, but it's very, very cool. Now, as far as color temperatures, you can have this be warm, a little bit warm, kind of cool, or super cool. So there's a bunch of variations between that. Actually, a lot of variations between that. So you can choose whether you want it to be warm or cool. If you're studying, writing notes or something like that, or you got up in the morning, you're probably gonna want it to be cool so you can wake up. But if it's evening, you probably want it to be warm so it kind of matches your vibe, your mood, which is something that we all love. Now, installation here is, well, you don't even really call it installation. That's how easy it is. You place it on top of your monitor with this kind of like, it's kind of like a clampy thing. super easy to do. You just place it up there, and then the actual light bar itself is magnetic, so you can literally just pull it off of the clamp whenever you want to. So then you snap that into place just by, well, putting it next to it, and then it magnetically snaps together. You plug in the USB Type-C, you put 2 AAA batteries in your controller, and that's it. You're done. It's fully set up. You can also adjust the angle of the light bar just by, well, going like that, just twisting it, and that's it. Now, the only con here, and it was the same with the speakers, if your monitor is super thick, well, this is going to have a hard time clamping onto the monitor. Now, I tested it with thick, thin, all sorts of monitors, like 90% of them it works with, but the super thick ones, it does still clamp to them. It's just not quite as perfect of a clamp. So there you go. But for about half as much as that BenQ one, this one is really, really good, giving you a wireless controller and a very premium build and very, very nice light. This is a massive upgrade to any gaming monitor setup, but let's move on to the #1 best accessory, and that is the Ergear monitor arm, coming in at a price tag of $89.99. Well, this monitor arm is extraordinarily worth it. Firstly, it's incredibly easy to mount with no drilling, screwing, or anything like that. It just uses a clamp that's very adjustable. So whether you have a very thick desk or you have a thin desk, it doesn't matter. It's gonna go on basically everything. Even if you have strange build quality for your desk, maybe some weird angles, this has gone on every single desk that I've needed it to. So really, really good installation and clamping method. So the installation is super easy. Clamp it on your desk, and that's literally it. And then you put your monitor on it. Now, the build quality of this one is really, really high quality, having almost completely metal build quality. Now, as far as compatibility, this says up to a 35-inch screen, which I know that it does more than that, as I have a 40-inch ultra-wide currently on one of those monitor arms. And honestly, with the whole size thing, don't even look at the size, just look at the weight. I've tested enough of these monitor arms to know that they always are underdoing it with the size, because I honestly think they don't understand displays all that well. But I have a few of these monitor arms that I've been using for years. They are my go-to every single time because they're the best I can find for the price. I have my personal 34-inch ultra-wide mounted on one of these, but I talked about the high weight cap. So you're thinking, can my monitor be mounted on this? It has a 26.4 pound weight cap. That is a lot of weight. And from all the testing that I've done on a ton of different monitor arms, those weight caps are always underdone. So it could probably go 30 pounds, maybe something like 32, 33 pounds, which is a super, super heavy monitor. So there you go. If you have a monitor, it's probably gonna work with this. Now for cable management, it's really, really simple, but it's very good. It hides the cables quite well. It has one very easily accessible kind of cable channel on the bottom, and then kind of a slip-in cable with a screw on the other section of the arm. And you can see by the B-roll, it works incredibly well. It looks nice, and it's easy to get those cables in and out. Now, one little extra in here that I actually really, really like, especially for productivity, as I do use this monitor arm on one of my editing stations, this has a USB extension cable that comes out of the base of the stand. So you can plug that into your PC and then have a USB over on the corner of your desk wherever the base of the arm is, which is so nice. Plugging in drives or charging headphones, anything like that, it's super convenient. But obviously the biggest pro with having one of these is 2 things. Number 1, you have basically infinite adjustability. If you want to lay back in your gaming chair and pull the screen all the way over you, you can do that. If you want to stand up and look at your monitor, maybe game while standing up, I don't know, you can do that. So you can do whatever you want. There's basically no limits on adjustability. You can go vertical, you can do it upside down. I mean, there's no rules here. But then the second one is you save a massive amount of space because there's nothing in front of you anymore. So you can reach under your monitor. It's absolutely game changing. If I have a setup, I have a monitor arm on it, and 9 times out of 10, I have this monitor arm on it. And not to mention, it upgrades your setup's look, and it just looks so sick. But again, if you want to check out any of the 5 monitor accessories in this video, there are Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. And if you enjoyed this and want to see more of my top 5 gaming tech, that's what I do on this channel, well, subscribe below. All right, this is a consumer tech review, and I'll see you guys in the next video.